Let's quickly recap what we did yesterday. Anybody has a question? Okay, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's quickly recap what we did yesterday. And is the font good? You guys can see the font, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's quickly recap what we did yesterday. So we are learning PLSQL. In that you have begin, you have these components. Okay, and this is optional. This is optional. This is mandatory. This is optional. And this is mandatory. Okay, so you need to have declare. Sorry, switched it. Okay, so declare is optional, begin is mandatory, exception is a good PLSQL programmer will always have an exception, and then this is mandatory. Okay, declare and exception is modular. So let's write a basic PLSQL block which is not named. Okay, an unnamed. I'm going to write an unnamed PLSQL block. Okay, so this is how we can write a PLSQL block. Begin, and I'm going to write dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and then I will write hello world. Then I'll execute this. dbms underscore output put underscore line. Okay, so it says PLSQL procedure completed successfully. If you're not seeing this message, you just have to type in set server output on. You just have to type in set server output on. Okay, and execute this. If you execute this, you will see the output. Now, I don't want to hard code hello world here. Okay, so what I can do is I can declare it. Okay, declare a varchar 2, and then you can make it 100, and you can assign this value. Okay, and over here, instead of hard coding the value, you can just simply call a. So now you will see hello world because you're declaring it, and then you're calling that value here. Now, this is called as global declaration. I'm going to do a local declaration as well. Okay, in the local declaration, I'm going to say hello world, today is Wednesday. So when I execute this, the local declaration will take preference over global declaration. Good. So let's erase this and let's execute this. Okay, when you can only declare here. you shouldn't write this varchar 200 here. So it says today is Wednesday, right? So the local declaration will always take preference over the global declaration. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, now over here, if I do this, this will fail. Why? Can someone tell me why this will fail?
We haven't declared that one.
Yes, you need to declare B first. You need to declare B first, and only then. Only if you declare B, then it will execute. It will display 10. What happens if you declare something as an integer and you're assigning a varchar here? It will not work because it says character to numbers conversion. So when you're declaring b as an integer, you can only pass numbers to it. Clear to everyone? Okay, so this is clear. Now let me write another. We're not learning anything new so far. We're just covering quickly what we did. So I'm going to declare a as integer, and I will assign, I will say not null. Sorry, I will say not null, and I will say begin and dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Why will this fail?
Sorry, Abdul, just a quick question. This DBMS the underscore put, is this table or column names, or what is that?
This is a command to display.
Oh, this is command. Okay.
This is not a table or anything. This is a command to display something on the screen.
Okay, so this command will always give this command.
Not necessary. You don't have to give this command.
Okay.
You don't have to give this command. You can write insert into table or anything over here. Right now, I just want to, like how you do select star from table, right? Which displays on the screen. You don't always have to.
In your scenario, we'll put it here like table
can write
and column.
Yeah, you can write an insert statement, update into a table or whatever you want. For now,
Okay.
I'm just doing select and displaying on the screen. So why will this error out? Can someone tell me?
Because we have to give a number.
Very good. We have to assign a value here. Okay. Only when you say not null, you immediately have to assign a value here. And now it's displaying 5. Okay. Can someone tell me what happens if I assign 2 values like this? Which one will take preference? Will this take preference?
You cannot put the same thing.
Yes. Yeah. It will not. It will say at most one declaration is allowed. Okay, good. So you cannot pass more than 2 values. What if you say what will happen now?
6.
Print 6.
Yeah, it will display 6. Okay. Very good. So you cannot assign more. You cannot declare the same. You cannot use the same variable and assign 2 values to it. And also, the moment you type in not null, you have to assign a value here. Okay. Now I'm going to say okay. Will this work?
Nope.
This will not work. Okay, this will not work. So it says constant a must contain an initialization assignment. So you have to initialize a value like at the start itself. Okay, will this work now?
No,
Again, it will not work.
You cannot put the local.
Yeah, because it's a constant. You cannot change the value between here and here. So throughout the program, the body of the language, it will still be 7 only. Okay. Can I say I declared 7 here and I want to call 7 here?
Yeah, that should work. Yeah.
No, even this will not work.
I don't think so. No. If there is a constant, no local.
Very good. If there is a constant, no local. Clear to everyone? Constant means no local at all. The local option is gone. Now, let me declare another variable. Declare a integer 10. So you can declare constant and not null at the same time. So you can say begin dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Now it's displaying 10. Okay. Internally, I cannot assign any value because I have the word constant. Here. Now, I don't want to type the word integer here. I know that in the database, there is a table called hr.employees, which has a column called employee underscore ID, which is a number or integer, whatever. So what is the term called? Using an existing database object, using an existing column to take
Well, type.
Anchor data type.
anchored data type. That's correct. So over here you can type in hr.employees.employee underscore ID, and then percentile type. So over here is 10. So you can add something here like the value of A is semicolon. Okay. Is that clear to everyone? You don't have to type the actual data type. You can just use anchored data types. Right? Now, let's do conditions. Let's do conditions. There are 4 types of conditions. Sorry, there are 5 types of conditions. There is if then else, if else, case, and search case. Okay, let's go through one by one. If then else is the simplest. It's dumb. It says if this condition, then do this. That's it. But there is a problem with that. I will tell you why. So I'm going to I'm going to declare 2 variables. So is this clear so far? Whatever the smaller topics we covered so far.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to cover. Now we are going to cover some slightly advanced level topics. So I'm going to declare an integer a equals to 10. I'm going to declare an integer b equals to 20. And sorry. And then I will say begin. Can everybody go on mute, please? And then I will say. So over here I will say. Hold on 1 second.
If.
So I will over here I will type in if a greater than b, then dbms underscore. I can write it in the next line. dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. I can say a is greater than b, and then I will have to type in end if, and I will have to type end. Okay, now there is a limitation when you use if then, right? I'm saying if this condition, then do this. But it's not telling me if b is greater than a, what should I do? If a is equals to b, what should I do? It's only covering one condition. So you can tell why we do not use this, right? See, it will not display anything because the other conditions are not satisfied, right? B is greater than a, right? So when I have 2 variables, there can be 3 conditions. This one is greater than this, or b is greater than a, or a and b are equal. There are 3 conditions, but when you use if then, you can only type in one condition. And if that condition is not satisfied, it will not display anything. So if I make this 20 and if I make this 10, now it will display. Now it will say a is greater than b. What if I make this 10 and 10? What if I make this 10 and 10? The condition doesn't satisfy, so there is nothing if the condition is not satisfied. Is that clear? So if then is slightly, barely use it. We never use it. Okay, try this out. Now to overcome this, we have this if then else. Okay, so let's try. Let's see how if then else is better. So we will type in declare a integer, then b integer, and then you will type start with the begin. Over here you will say if. Okay, same thing, whatever. Okay, one thing, this can be written in brackets also. You can write your conditions in bracket also. Okay, it's the same thing. You can write it whatever way you want. Okay, let's do with brackets. Okay, so I'm going to use if then else. Okay, I'm going to type if then else. So I'm going to say if bracket A is greater than B, and dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. I'm simply going to say A is greater than B. Okay, now with this one, with if then else, if this condition, then do this, right? But if then else, if this condition, then do this, else do this. So I can type in if A is greater than B, then I can say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line A is greater than B, else dbms underscore output dot, we don't use this as well. Okay, this is very, I don't remember using this, so I will just say B is greater than A, right? Then I will say and if, and this is clear to everyone now. So which condition will be satisfied here? This condition will be satisfied, right? Because B is greater than A. Okay, let me start with 20 and let me start with 10. Which condition will be satisfied? The first condition will be satisfied. So let me execute this. Encountered a symbol 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is the problem here? And if so, oh, and if is not okay. So I'm saying A is greater than B, which is correct, right? Now I'm going to make this as 10, make this as 20. It will try to search for this. Okay, A is not greater than B. Then immediately it will say B is greater than A. Now the problem here is what if these two are 20 and 20? So this condition is not satisfied. So immediately it will display this. Immediately it will display this. It will say B is greater than A, but that is not true, right? See, if then you can only write one condition. If it doesn't satisfy that condition, it will exit out. If then else, you can write if it is doing this, do this, otherwise for everything else do this. So sometimes this can be correct and sometimes this can be false. If I put B as 20 and A as 10, this will be correct. If both of them are 20 and 20, it's still displaying B is greater than A, which is incorrect, right? So to overcome this one, so this can be used when you only have one condition to evaluate. You can use this when you have only two conditions to evaluate. And when you have two conditions, like you always know that A and B are going to be two different values. Only then. If A and B can be, if you have conditions like over here, what is the only condition you can evaluate? This one is greater than this one. With if then you can only evaluate one condition. A is greater than B. With if then else, you can evaluate this one is greater than this one, or this one is greater than this one. But what if you have more than two conditions to evaluate? Suppose you have like 10 conditions to evaluate. You cannot use this one or this one, right? In that case, you will use if, else if, else. So you can write this multiple times. And then the final one, you can say else. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do if then else. So again, declare a integer and b integer 20. Let me make it 20 and 10. Can everybody go on mute, please? Okay, I'm going to say begin. Now I will type in if. I'm going to put a condition. So I'm going to say if A is greater than B, then dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and then I will say A is greater than B. Then I will type in else if. No, wait. Then I will type in else if. You can write another condition here. Else if B is greater than A, then again you will say dbms underscore output dot put underscore line.
Yeah. Abdul, I have a question.
Yeah.
This DBMS output put line, I mean, all is doing this printing the variable. Can't we have an alias for this command? You just make it
No, this
short.
is provided by Oracle. There is no other option for this.
Okay.
You have to type in, like you are going to say select star from table. Select is too big. Can we have like an alias, right? No, you cannot have. Select is select. If you want to display something on the screen, you will have to use this. So you will type in if A is greater than B, then do this. Else if B is greater than A, then do this. The final condition will be else dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. And you can just say, what is the final condition?
A is equal to
Is
B.
greater, sorry, A is
Equal
to
B.
B. So when you have two numbers, these are the only three conditions, right? See, with if you can only evaluate one condition. With if then you can evaluate this condition, or which is not this one. With else if you can evaluate thousands of conditions. You can evaluate as many conditions you want. Now you will say and if and you can so every time you start an if statement, you have to end it with and if, right? Similarly, in SQL, when you have a case, you have to end it with an end, right? Similarly, if you have an if statement, you have to end it with end if. In Unix, if you have an if statement, you end it with fi. We'll cover that later. But every programming language, if you start an if statement, you have to end it with something. Okay. Now let's execute this. So A is greater than B. So it will immediately satisfy this condition, display this, and exit out. Sorry, I did not select the entire. So A is greater than B. Okay, now let's switch this. Let's make this 10 and let's make this as 20. In this case, this will not be satisfied. It will go here, go to the second condition. The second condition gets satisfied and it will error out. B is greater than. The third condition, which the previous if then else couldn't satisfy, which couldn't do it if then else. So even this one will get. So first it will go here. This will not get satisfied. It will exit out. It will go here. This one will not get satisfied. Exit out. Then it will, those two conditions, the final condition, it will say if this condition is not satisfied and this condition is not satisfied, it will just get tired and say, okay, just take this and it will exit out. So now it's A is equals to B. So, and you can also over here type in, you can make it more detailed. A is equals to B, and you can just say, you can add whatever you want, and value of A and B is this. Let me clear this out. So the value of A and B is 10. So let me put a space here. Okay. Is this clear? So these are conditions. If then else, if else, and so this is equals to decode, and this is equals to case in SQL. So search case. So I'm going to cover that as well. So when you use case in PLSQL, it is equivalent to decode. When you use search case, that is equivalent to case. Can someone tell me what is the difference between decode and case? I covered this yesterday. In SQL, what is the difference between? There is one major difference.
You cannot use the greater or smaller.
Correct. You can.
Decode.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Yeah, you're right. So with the decode, you cannot use ranges or greater than or less than. Same thing. With case, you cannot use range, between, and all those things. With search case, you can use. Okay, so let's cover that. So this is done, right? Now,
Look, can you send us this one, please?
I don't know if it will let me send everything. So let me say,
You already sent the first one, so if
I
you
already
can
sent the first one.
send
Okay.
the second one.
Put this as, let me send this as well. Let me send you the second one. Guys, don't copy paste and execute it. Write it from scratch. Okay, you can refer my notes, but try to write it from scratch. When you write it from scratch, you will run into hundreds of issues. You'll get frustrated because you'll miss this. You'll miss this colon, or you'll miss this semicolon. It will be so frustrating because you're programming here, right? See, SQL is simple. You can write a select statement, select star from table, or where, or and, or on. Yeah, but programming language, this is actual programming language. SQL is not programming language. You're just querying tables there. This is actual programming language, especially whenever you use if, then this is where it gets interesting. Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
So okay,
Yes.
let's proceed. Okay, so let's do this one case. We never use this one. Okay, I mean, you can use this, but this can do both. So usually people stick with search case only. Okay, and we barely use this one and this one. Most of the times you will use this one because with this one you can do this and this, but with this one you cannot do this and this. With this one you cannot do this. With the if then else if else if else, you can do everything with these. Okay, so let's do the simple, let's do the case. Okay, so let me once again let me do the same thing. So declare a integer, I'm going to say over here 17. Okay, and I'm going to run this. So I'm going to type in begin. Okay, and I'm going to type in case, and then I will type in when. Sorry, case. This is the difference between case and search case. This is the difference between case and search case. So there is a slight syntax difference here. Okay. Okay. So declare a integer 17, and then I will say begin case a when 15, say over here you can say when 15 dbms underscore, I can write this in a different line, or let me just write it. dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and then I can say over here I can say mat I can say not equal to not equals to global variable. Okay. Else, and then I can say else I can say equals to global variable. Okay, so whenever you have case, you will type in end case, and then you will type in end. Whenever you have if, start with an if, you will type in end if. Whenever you have case, you will type in end case. So let me clear this out and let me execute this. Encountered a symbol when expecting one of these. Line 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When 15. Oh, I need to type in then. Okay, so wait, sorry. Case A when 15. So why did I type in? No, okay, I gave the wrong example. 17. Sorry, I mixed them up. So this one is equal and this one is not. Okay, so I'm declared a global variable like this, and internally I'm passing this one. Okay, so now it will say equal to global variable. Okay, so global variable is 15 now. So now it will say not equals to global variable. Okay, so you can use this, you can use any of these, or you can use a case statement. The problem with case is you cannot write between. You have to say exactly equals to 17, or you can say not equals to 17. So what does this mean? 15 is not equals to 17, right? So case A means 15. We declared A as 15. So we are saying case 15 when 17. So 15 is not equals to 17. So it will go to the else and just display this. When you put 17 here, so it will pass the value here. So it will check 17 is equals to 17. Immediately display this. Is that clear?
Yep.
So you mean in this case, it will not take the range like in regular?
No. In
Decode.
SQL, yeah, this is equivalent to decode. And see, case in SQL will take ranges, but case in real SQL will not take ranges. Okay, you have to do search case. Okay, you have to do search case. Okay, so the same thing we can write using with the help of search case. Again, same thing. We will say declare a integer equals 17, and then I will say begin. See, there is a slight difference when I type in case and search case. See, over here I'm typing when, right? So I'm writing case A here, right? In search case, I will not write case A. I will just type in case. Till here it's same. Till here it's same. And I'm not going to type in A. Okay. Over here, I will just type in when. Now I will type in A. Over here, I will type in case A. Over here, I will type in case when A. Now I can say between 10 and 20. Then dbms, whatever you want to display, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Now I can use ranges. Okay, I can say value within limit. Okay, or else I can say, now I can say when A is less than 10 and A is greater than 20, then again I can use greater than, less than, between here. Then I will say dbms underscore out. So if A is less than 10 and A is greater than 20, whatever I'm passing here, if it satisfies this condition, I will display this. If it does not, if it satisfies this condition, okay, if it satisfies, so I can just simply say if a is greater than 20, then dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. I will say, value exceeding range, value exceeding range. Okay, and then I will type in last else dbms underscore output value below range. So I can have three conditions, right? Value is between 10 and 20, value a is greater than 20, then value is exceeding range. So the last one will be a is less. So I already covered between 10 and 20. I covered greater than 10. The only one left is less than 10. So value below range. And then I can type in end case. In case and search case, you have to end it with like this. There is a small difference once again. Declare this all the way till here is the same. Okay, instead of typing case a and then when, I will type in case when a. Over here it's a when, over here it's when a. Clear this out and execute this. Line 8, column 9. Oh, sorry, I did not select end. So it says value within limit because it's between 10 and 20, right? So you can write between, greater than, less than. So that's the difference between case and search case. Is that clear? So over here you will type in case a when, over here you will type in case when a. Clear? It's just clear to everyone.
Yes, it is.
You have to try it out. You have to try it out. Now we are going to do loops. Okay, we just finished conditions. If a is greater than b or b. So if you did not understand conditions, loops is going to be difficult. Because you will say, when you use loops, you always have to use conditions. Loops and conditions are always used together. Because when you say if, keep looping, and when it satisfies the condition, then you have to exit out something, right? So you will say if, okay, let me type in simple. So I want to print all values between 1 and 10. Okay, I want to print all values between 1 and 10. Okay, so how will I do it? So I will declare a variable, declare a integer 1. I will say begin, right? So I'm going to do a simple, the first one I'm going to do is the basic loop. Okay, so I will say loop, and then I will say dbms underscore output dot put. You don't have to type in the entire thing. It will prompt you. For whoever was saying it's too big, is there an alias? You don't have to type in the entire thing. So you will display a, and then you will say a equals a plus 1. This is a counter. Okay, I'll explain this. I'll come back to this. Okay, a equals to a plus 1, and then you will type in if b. Now I'm going to use if statement. So I will type in if a is equals to 10, then exit. Okay, when a equals to 10, then exit. Then I will type in and loop, and if. So I'm going to start closing this if, then I will close this loop, and if and loop end. To declare, I'm declaring this integer a as 1. Begin loop dbms underscore output, so put underscore line. So when you start this program, 1 will be displayed here. Okay, 1 will be displayed on the screen. Then you will increase a with 1, a equals to a plus 1. So what was the value of a? It was 1, right? So 1 plus 1, 2. Then it will say if a is equals to 10, then exit. A is not equals to 10. Okay, so it's going to go back. It's going to go back, and now this value becomes 2. Okay, then it will display 2 on the screen. dbms underscore output, it will display 2 on the screen. Then you will say a equals to a plus 1. So a is equals to 2 plus 1, 3. Then it will say if a equals to 3. So 3 is not equals to 10, right? So it will not exit. Only if it becomes 10, then it will exit. Then it will again keep looping and looping and looping 10 times, and then it will exit out. So let me execute this. Let me say a is greater than or equals to 10. Sorry. Get this out. Mm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if a is,
If it is between 1 and 10, then you don't have to test for greater than 10. Equal to 10 is good.
yeah, if a is, yeah, greater than is good. Is that clear?
Yes.
So once again, declare an integer 1, say begin, loop, keep looping. Okay, so you will display the first value, then you will increment it by 1, then you will check for the condition. Okay, no, this condition is not satisfied, so it will not exit. Only when this condition is, so currently a is 1, so a is not greater than 10, so it will not exit. So it will again loop. 2 is not greater than, it will again exit. It will again loop. So every time it goes back up, it gets incremented by 1.
So Abdul, our object is to print between 1 and 10. Is it inclusive 1 and 10 or?
So if you don't want to do 10, then just put a greater symbol, equal symbol. You will not display 10. So when I say between 1 and 10, 10 is not included. It says 1 to 9. Yeah, you're right. So this is what it is. Is that clear to everyone? How you have to use, whenever you use loops, you have to tell what it should do. Clear?
Yes, it is.
You can also say value of a is okay, or you don't want to type in integer here. You can type in hr.employee underscore id percentile type. Clear? Try this out. This is a simple basic loop. If you know the basic loops, you can. For you to know loops, you should know conditions. Only when you know conditions, then you can do this. What happens if you don't? Okay, can everybody see my screen? What happens if you don't put an if condition? What happens if you just keep looping? It will never exit out, right?
It will not exit.
it will never exit out because it will just keep increasing and increasing and increasing. It will run out of memory, and it will run out of memory, and then it will say, it will just crash. See, it will keep running and running, and then say it ran out of memory. Okay, don't do this at work. Don't do this at work. Don't make, okay, can everybody go on mute, please? Don't write a loop statement without an if at work. Okay, okay. I have to put everybody on mute because you guys won't go on mute. Is that clear? Do not write a loop without an exit condition. Okay, it will take up so much memory. Other people are trying to execute some other queries on the database. It will. So query this error message. Who are you? So you will see what this message means. So you can increase it. You can increase it, but again, it will again crash. Okay. So make sure that you're not writing a loop without an exit. It should exit out sometime, right? Maybe like 100 or 200 or 1,000, something. It should exit out. You cannot just keep saying keep running till it crashes, right? Is this clear? I already pasted. I already pasted this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to. Yeah. What's the question?
I have one question. Like I see in the chat, Yasser also asked, what is the like in real life, like where we can use this one? Like I cannot think about it. Like where we can exactly just fit this loop.
Okay. I gave you an example yesterday, right? I want you to loop through all the tables in HR schema and all the columns in each table and check for a value -2. So that's where when you loop through all the tables in HR schema using loop only. First you will go to this table, then you will go to the next table, then you're looping through all the tables in HR schema and all the columns for a value. You'll get to it. For now, just look at this. You'll get to it. We will do an actual what we do at work.
Perfect.
Okay, now my next thing is I want to display all the values between 1 and 10 except 5. I don't want to display 5. Okay, is that clear? I want to display all values except I don't want to display 5. How would I do it?
Will increase condition.
Hmm?
Will increase another if condition.
Very good. You will write another if condition. You will type in here if a equals to loop. So if a equals to,
You will say
so you
if
type in a equals
5, yeah,
5, then a
equal to a plus 1.
a plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying not here. You won't type it here. You will do it here. So you will say if a equals to 5, then a equals to a plus 1. Okay. And then you will say continue. Okay. And you will over here say, okay, let me encounter the word. So Actually, this should go. Sorry, this one will go. No, you cannot do it in basic simple loops. Okay, so just say we want to display values between 1 and 10 here. So declare this value 1, begin loop, default values a equals to a plus 1. Then you will type in if a is greater than or equals to 10, then exit. And if okay, so this is your basic loop. Okay, let's do the while loop. Okay. Same example. I want to display values between 1 and 10. Okay, wait, before we do that, so do you see this where we are exiting out? So we are saying if a is greater than 10, greater than or equals to 10, then exit. You can even write this as, you don't have to write it like this. You can say exit when a greater than or equals to 10. Yeah, it does the same thing. You can do it, both of them is the same. Oh, then yeah, then you don't need this end if. Because when you're commenting it out if, then you don't need end if. So your program is going to become smaller. Is that clear? Is this clear to everyone?
Would you have used a case statement to test the value and then print something?
You can use case also here. Instead of if, then you can use the whatever the previous. Instead of if, then you can use, where am I using? So instead of using this if, and then you can use any of these. Okay, you can use any of these. They are all doing the if then. Over here, I have only one condition to evaluate. If a is greater than 10, so then I can use the simplest one. The simplest one if then, right? Okay, now let's move on and do the while loop. Okay, so again, how do I do the while loop? So this one is again pretty simple. Over here, okay, so over here I'm again going to type in declare a integer equals to 1. I want to display all the values between 1 and 10. So I already did it with the help of a basic loop. Now I will do with the help of a while loop. Okay, so this one is, give me 1 second. So this one is, okay, so declare a integer equals to 1 and then begin. I will type in while a is less than or equals to 10. Keep looping. Okay, and then just say dbms underscore output or output underscore line. Okay, and then I will increment it. And so these two are doing the same thing here. So over here, I'm declaring begin loop dbms underscore output. And then, so I'm starting with a loop. I'm starting with a while loop here. Okay. In other words, I'm combining two statements, this one and this one, into one. I'm saying while a is less than or equals to 10. So what is the initial value of a? It's 1, right? So I'm saying while a is less than or equals to 10. What is the value of a? 1. So 1 is less than or equals to 10. So continue to loop. Then it will display, then you will increment it by 1. Then it will go back up. 2 is less than or equals to 10. So continue looping. So it will, the current value of a is 2. Then it will get incremented by 1 more. Then it will go back up. 3 is less than or equals to 2. So it will continue to loop. The current value of a is 3 and it will get displayed. When it comes to 9 is less than or equals to 10, it will loop, display the current value of a, which is 9, then increment it by 1. Again, it will loop. It will say 10 is less than or equals to 10. Yes, it is. Now the condition got satisfied. The moment condition gets satisfied, it will skip this, skip this, skip this, and it can come here. Is that clear? Less than 10. No, less than or equals to. Try this out. Now, in this one, if you want to, so this is, so this is my output, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I want to, I do not want to display the value 5 here. Okay, I do not want to display value 5 here. So how will I do it? I will have to write another if statement, right? So over here, I will type in if a is equals to 5, then a equals a plus 1. Okay, then I will type in end if. Oh wait, if a equals to a plus 1, if a equals to 5, then a equals to plus 1 1. You will type in continue. Will not end, will continue.
So Abdul, at that time, what about the 6? If we're gonna give the as an integer like a number 6, I mean, yeah, 6. So it will not be like a 2 times 6.
No, 1 second. So let me go back and execute this. So I'm displaying values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I do not want to display the value 5. Okay. So over here, I will type in if a equals 5, then if a equals to 5, then don't display it. Just increment it by 1. Okay. And then I will say continue. Then I will say and if. So now I will not display 5 here. So I added this line, and this line. So previously I had this. So now I put another. Can everybody go on mute, please? There's a lot of disturbance. Okay. Now I'm displaying all the values between 1 and 10. Now my condition is if the value is 5, skip it. So this was all working fine. So I will just say if a equals 5, then okay.
So we could not do it with the basic loop, only with the while loop.
Yeah, I think you can do it with the basic loop as well. Let me retry that. Okay. So this one will display values from 1 to 9. I put another condition within another condition saying that if this is all good, keep looping. But the moment you reach the moment you reach 5, then don't display it, just continue it. So then you will say continue, then end f. So over here I'm saying, previously I was saying if a equals to 10, then exit, right? Over here I'm saying if a equals to 5, then continue, don't exit. So you can either continue or exit. So over here I did exit. Over here I did continue. What happens if I say if a equals to 5, then what happens if I say then exit? So what happens if I do this?
It will not go after 5.
No
Yeah.
loop till 10.
Yeah, so you have two conditions, right? While a is less than 10, loop, but again you're saying the moment it reaches 5, exit out. Right?
After 5, you will exit.
Yeah.
It will not.
So even though it did not reach 10, this one takes preference. This end takes preference over this. So when you reach 5, you can either say exit. So this is a condition which will override this condition. Okay. You are saying when it reaches 5, you can either say continue or exit. So I did exit. Or if you say when a equals to 5, then a equals a plus 1. So I'm saying don't exit, just don't display it, but just add one more. And then you will say continue. See, be very careful with semicolons here, okay?
So, excuse me, mostly which kind of the looping, which one is most common, I mean?
It depends on what your requirement is. You can use any loop, okay? If it, so they give you multiple options, okay? So now, so we
Is
did
there
this
any one thing, a little bit confused me, one thing that after 5 is go exit, there's no anything that we can do the command like do not print this and
That's what I'm doing, right? I'm not displaying 5 here.
Right. So, okay. So, I mean, and the other thing is that like we are using the while loop, and if instead of while loop, we can do the same thing instead of if, we can do in the use the same loop while to not print the 5.
See, over here we are using the basic loop. Okay, in this basic loop, we are using the if statements and all those things. Over here, we are using while. Over here, we are using basic loop. Over here, we are using while. So the next one will make more sense. Okay, the PLSQL for this is just just loop. It's not basic or while loop. It is just simple loop. Okay, not simple loop. This is just a loop. So this is you'll understand this one. So declare a integer. And then you will say begin. Over here you will say this is called the for loop. This is called the for loop. This is basic loop, while loop. This is the for loop. So if it's basic loop, as soon as you type in begin, you will say loop. While loop, the moment you type in begin, you will say while. For loop, the moment you type in begin, you will say for. Over here you will say for a in 1 to 10. Then you will say loop, and then you will type it. Same thing, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. So you can see how your loops are getting smaller and smaller. See, over here it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines. Over here you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, over here I added this. So previously we did not have these 3 lines, right? I did not have these 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Over here I had 11. I compressed it to 8. Over here I compressed it to even smaller. So see, this is basic, right? It's very simple. For a in 1 to 10 loop. I don't have to say if a is less than 10, then exit or whatever. Is that clear? There is a even though this is very simple, there is a problem with this one. There is a limitation with this one. Can someone tell me what is the limitation here?
I have
Can
a
you
question.
skip? Can you skip a number in between?
Yeah, you can skip a number, but there is a limitation with this one. What if I want to increase values by 2 values? Over here, I can say a equals to a plus 2, right? I can say over here a equals to, okay, let me get rid of this. If I want, I don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So I can simply just say a equals to, so I will say 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. The problem with for loop is the limitation is it will only increase values by 1. You cannot increase values by 2.
What if you specify a set of values instead of specifying a range?
For
A in 1, 2, 3 or something like that, or 1 space 2 space 3.
You cannot type whatever you want here. This is the syntax. You cannot type anything apart from this. You can change this value or this value. When you put for and then put this dot dot, it will always increase by 1. You cannot type in for a in 1, 2. No, this is the syntax. This is the syntax. And the limitation is it will only increase values by 10. So 1. So even though this is, see, whenever something is easy to write, there will always be limitation. Whenever you take a shortcut, there is always some drawback. So this code is very easy to understand. You're declaring an integer begin. You literally wrote just one line. Right over here, see how much you're writing, while a is less than, then display this, then a equals to a plus 1. Over here, see, you wrote even more. Right? You wrote an exit, an if, and over here you wrote just one line for a in 1 to 10 loop. Right? Problem is this will only increase values in 1. You cannot do more than 1. You cannot customize it. Over here you can customize it. Over here you can say increment values by 3. So now you will see 1, 4, 7. You'll just see 1, 4, 7. Right? Over here you can customize. Over here you cannot. Is that clear? So you can also say, and also do it in reverse. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clear?
Is it possible for the other ones too, the reverse?
No. You will have to say, you can do it, but you will have to say, you will have to make this as 10. And you will have to say 0. Oh, wait. Let me first give you this. You guys can try this out. Okay, so you're saying over here you want to display in reverse. Sorry. So if you want to display in reverse, why is it not displaying? Int begin is while a is greater than 10. Oh, sorry, I made it 10. Okay, so why is this not working? Declare a integer 1 begin while a is greater than 10. A is 1, so loop. Why is this not working?
Yeah, it will not work because you are starting with a is equal to greater than 10. So it's only 1. It will never go in the loop. If you make it less than, then it will.
So, okay. Now, if I want to do this in reverse, so you can make this as 10, and you can say A is less than 0, A minus 1. So 10 is less than, no. So you'll make A as 10. So 10 is greater than 0. Okay, loop 9. Okay, yeah, this should work. This you can, please save all of these, okay? And I'm going to code this as well. Here, all these loops. So the nested loop, please look into it yourself. So if you go to loops, sorry. If you go to loops, you will have basic loop, while loop, for loop, nested loops. Then over here, if you scroll to the bottom, you can either exit or continue. You can also look into this. I showed you 1, 2, 3. And then I showed you this one and this one. You can continuous in the middle of it, you want to exit out. So this will take preference over what you initially see. Immediately retest its condition prior to reiterating. So it will take over the initial condition. If you look at operators, you have, sorry, not conditions. So if you look at, why is my internet? Yeah. So you have if then basic, if then else, if then else if, case, and search case. So nested if then, you can write an if then within an if then, right? So we just did it. See this one here. Where is it? The continue one. Yeah. So we wrote an if. We wrote an if within an if. So in a while, we wrote an if statement. So in a loop, we wrote another loop. So this will take preference over this one. Here. So this is called as nested loops. Go through the example for that. Then we covered all the way till here loops. Okay. This is very important. Cursors is very important. Triggers I covered in detail. Exception is, this is what a good PLSQL programmer will know, exceptions. Okay, I don't want to take too much time in there. But probably Saturday will be the last class for PLSQL. Okay, I showed you all the basics. We will go through the advanced level topics, and then you can go over some of them. Saturday will be the last class for SQL and PLSQL. From Sunday, we will start Power Center. Okay, 2 more classes for PLSQL, and that should be it. Anybody has any questions? What we did so far?
Hey, Abdul.
Yeah.
Abdul have a. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So when, for example, in an interview, what kind of question do we expect about PLSQL?
So they can ask you what are the different kinds of loops you have used. Triggers. Every single interview, they will ask you about triggers. Actually, if I open my important interview questions. So every single interview, they will ask you about triggers, okay? I think whoever is there, Fahad, Wasim, I think they asked you this question, right? So in interview. So if you look at this one, they will ask you about various triggers. Yeah, what's a trigger and why is it used? I covered this in detail on one of the weekend classes. Okay, the other questions they will ask you is, where have you used stored procedure? Where have you written a stored procedure? Okay, so these are all unnamed blocks. Okay, these are all unnamed blocks. So you can give it a name here. Okay, okay, you can give it a name here. Create or replace procedure. You can call this as what should we call this? Numbers in reverse. Okay, so if you look at one of the stored procedures here, so create or replace. Okay, so this is, one second. So the syntax is create or replace. So this is how you can write as create or replace procedure. Okay, and then you can execute this. Greetings, right? So this one gets, so when you look at the procedures now, and if you right click and refresh this, now you created a stored procedure. You created, these are all unnamed blocks. Okay, and if I close my this window, this will be lost, but this one is stored in the database. Now, how do I execute this greeting stored procedure? Okay. All you have to do is exec, and then type in greetings. So it will execute like this. So now this one got saved. Now, if you want to see how this stored procedure was created, you can just say create or replace procedure greetings. Just like this. So this one got saved. Now, in the interview, they will ask you, okay, where did you create these? How did you use PLSQL? What kind of stored procedures have you created? So, like I said, in my company, we have like hundreds of tables. I wrote a stored procedure which will loop through every single table, which will loop, actually do this. Okay. I want you guys to, so you guys know what a stored procedure is, right? It's just the block, but I gave it a name and stored it here. Okay, try this out. If you guys can do this, this is what I have done at work. Okay, write a stored procedure. Write a stored procedure to loop through all tables and all columns. Loop through all tables and all columns in HR schema and look for value 100. How many tables do I have in HR schema? I have like so many tables. How many columns do I have in each table? 2, 3, 5. So I cannot write like thousands of select statements. Select star from Abdul _ 3 _ 1 where empid equals to 100. Select star from this table where name equals to 100. Select star from birthday. Select star from this table where employee ID. So I cannot write thousands of queries like that, right? So I want to query. Okay, let me make it even more interesting. Write a stored procedure to loop through all tables and all columns. Only number columns. I don't want to loop through all columns. I want to loop through columns which have number data type. Okay. Did you guys understand my question? I want you to write a stored procedure which will loop through all of these only for number data types and check for this value 100 and display on the screen. And either display on a screen or load it to another table. But now we will just do display on the screen. So you know you have to use loops, right? You know you have to use loops, but then you will also have to use, so I showed you half of this. How will you loop through all the tables and all the columns? Can someone tell me?
Maybe we can use the where statement, I mean where condition.
How does that even make sense? I'm asking how will you loop through all the columns in HR schema? Okay, I think I showed, I am not sure if I showed this. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm not sure if I showed this. Do you remember I showed something like this?
Yes.
I want all the columns in HR schema. So you will query all tab columns, right? Where owner equals HR and data underscore type equals number. So I will get all the columns. So these are all the columns in HR schema which have number data type. Okay. Now I'm going to save this in a cursor. I'm going to open a cursor. I'm going to save all of these values in a cursor. Okay. And then I will say where. So I will, what does a cursor means? Cursor means it's a temporary pointer. It's a temporary memory. So I will save this one first in the cursor. Okay. Then I will say where select star from. So I will write a stored procedure like this. Select star from over here. I will not specify a column name. Over here, I will not select star from table where select star from table. Sorry, I want the table underscore name and column underscore name. So I'm not writing a stored procedure. I'm just giving an idea. So I will say select star from table where equals -2. My cursor will pick up this table, place it here. My cursor will pick up this column and place it here and execute this. Then it will go back, pick up these two values and place it in this query and execute, right? So my cursor will pick up something like this, pick up this value and this value, and this and execute this. Okay, so there is nothing in that. Then in that there is no -2s. Okay, then my cursor will come to this, my pointer or cursor will come to this. Now it will pick up countries and place it here. It will become region ID. Sorry. Okay, so I will write a generic statement like this. And then over here, I'll write a generic. It will, my cursor will pick up these two values and place it here. Then it will loop through. It will loop through this entire all the way till the end. And then it will keep displaying on the screen. So you will have to use loops, which I showed you, and then you have to use cursor. Did you guys get the idea? Yes or no?
Yes, kind of again.
Okay. So at work, this is how requirements you will get. Don't expect whatever you learn 100% here, you will get at work 100% like this. They will ask you in an interview, what kind of stored procedures have you used? You can say I wrote a stored procedure in which I had to. So in this company, I have to query all the tables in the HR schema and look for a value -2. In my previous company, I had to loop through all the tables and look for these kind of values. These are called unprintable characters. Any of my columns like names, I had to look for these values. So this was in another company.
Okay.
So
I have a couple of questions. One question is to write a query like this or a small program. Usually,
this is not a query. This is not a query.
Right, yeah. I mean, a PL code, PLSQL code.
Procedure. Use the word. Yeah.
Right. So, how much of a time do you get usually? I mean, do they give you like a couple hours, whole day, or half a
Maybe if you're lucky, they'll give you 5 minutes or 3 minutes.
Okay.
Why are you getting paid 6-figure salary for somebody to give you 1 hour, right? Or 1 day. I can literally write a stored procedure which will loop through all the tables in the schema and look for a value -2.
Yeah, once you have done it, I guess, yeah, then it's different
Yeah.
story. If
So,
it's some
okay,
task, yeah.
guys, okay, another thing. If you do not know something, this is more important than learning how to code. Okay, you should know what to Google for. So see what I'm going to check on Google. Stored procedure to loop through all tables for a value. Loop through all tables without a cursor. Okay, this is interesting. I thought you always had to use. I always use cursor. Okay, loop through all columns in all tables to find the document, the table, and the field name. See, look at this one. How do I select all records that may contain without referring to specific column? So you can write set server out, declare dummy for C for orange, select table name from user tab columns. So yeah, your answer is here. So take this. So take this. Guys, if somebody is asking you to do something, it's not the first time, right? It's not the first time somebody is doing this. Or very late to the game. Somebody has already done this like thousands of times.
So,
Okay.
so basically, no need to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly. Don't do hard work.
Yeah.
Don't do hard work. Do smart work.
Right. So, and secondly, I mean,
Wait, let me complete this. Hold on 1 second. You asked a question, right? Let me complete this. Don't ask anybody any questions, okay? Everything is there. So for R in, so this is, I'm writing a cursor, select table name, column, table underscore name column. So I don't think they're using Oracle database because in Oracle, you don't have user tab columns. Do you have user tab columns? Actually, you do. Okay, very good. You don't even have to make any changes. So you're declaring a dummy called varchar21. Loop begin execute, select null from table. Okay, you're so see, you're checking for. Okay, let me execute this. You can, so this is an unnamed block. Okay, you can store this in the database. Enter the value to search for. I want to search for 100. So it's going to loop through all the tables. Why does it say stored procedure completed successfully? Okay. Oh, okay. I don't want, see, okay, varchar cannot be 100. Okay, let me say number field. Because I know employee underscore ID has 100, value employee ID has 100, right? So I only want to check for, that was my question, right? So slight change to the question. See, it found it in location ID. So let me query this table. Locations tables in location ID. So select star from locations table where, let's see if this stored procedure is working the way it is supposed to work. I should see at least one value. Why did it say that it found 100? It's 1000. Let me see again.
also executing like this immediate, execute immediate.
Abdul, is there any way that like we can write down this curve like one by one with you? At least we can see that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to do it right now. I can do it, but I don't want to do it right now because I will have to teach you.
Oh, something else to show all
Yes,
of them.
I
Okay.
want. Yeah, you would have to know cursors. So this is. So don't wait for me to teach you everything. So this is a cursor. Okay, this is a cursor. See, remember where I showed you all tab columns? Where is it? See. So all of this information, I'm storing it into a cursor. So all of this information, I'm storing it into a cursor. Okay. And now I'm saying I'm taking each one of this. See, I'm putting it in the table name and the column name and checking for value 1. Right. So the same thing what I just explained here. I will take all of this and I place it here, and check for this value.
So looks like if we are executing a program, a procedure like this one, it can be very resource. I mean,
Yeah,
it
because it's going through so many
yeah,
tables
yeah.
and so many columns. So you know right now how many tables and columns it's going
Yeah.
through.
So basically, bring the whole department to a halt.
So it's going through 94 columns in 94 different tables and checking for a value. But you guys get the idea, right? So you're declaring something. You're saying begin, loop through all of these and store it into the dummy. And then found on the screen display, dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, display on the screen, pipe. Exception handling is, I showed you, I will have to cover that later. For now, you can ignore this, but you should know cursors. I already showed loop. You should know cursors, and you should also know this execute immediate. Okay, try to see. So in employee's salary, we should have an employee. So it is saying that only these objects have value 1000 in it. So let me check. Select star from this table where location ID equals so now let me check the jobs table. Let me query this table again. So this one is going to be constant. This is going to be constant. This is going to be constant. This one will keep changing. So min salary from jobs table. That's what I showed, right? This will be constant. This will keep changing. I stored that into the. I stored it into. Let me execute this. I don't know why it says. So let me select star from jobs. Where min salary is 1000, min salary is. I don't know. There is something wrong with this stored procedure, but yeah, you would have to. Let me say all tab columns, their data type in number. Okay, this will work. Okay, and I will say we data type in number and owner equals HR. I don't want it for the entire. I only want number fields in HR schema. So if I execute this. Yeah, so I have 94. Okay, let me execute this now. So right now it is saying it found the value 101 in all of these. Let's test it out. So select star from employees table where employee underscore ID equals. This one I know it's there for sure. Okay, let me query the second one which it is saying. Select star where manager ID. I know this one is also there. See, manager ID is, so now 101, it is saying it's also present in this one. So let me query this one. This is very common at work. They'll ask you to write a stored procedure to loop through all the tables and see, find for a specific value. So job history, let me see. Okay, I see this one. So now it is saying, let me pick up this order lines. Okay, so you guys get an idea, right? Where you can be using this. To be honest, I haven't worked much, but here and there, sometimes you will have to write, see. So instead of using all user tab, use all tab columns. Okay, let me execute this for some other value. Okay, let me say where number, where data type is varchar2 and owner is HR. Okay, let me execute this and I will type in Nina. So I will type in Nina. So it found it only in these four. Found it only in these four. So you can say select star from select star. So instead of displaying on the screen, you can insert it into another table. Remember when we did triggers, I first showed dbms underscore output dot put underscore line, and then I said insert into. So instead of displaying on the screen, you can insert it into another table. Okay, you can say select star from employees where first name was Nina. Okay, that's what I searched for. So yeah, this should be there. Let me look at this. So this is this where first, okay. Yeah, first name is Nina. So it will tell you which table. It says found it in this table and this column. Literally takes you 2 minutes to write this. You don't have to. Okay, you should know how to write from scratch. But if you don't know how to write from scratch, if somebody gives you a stored procedure, you should at least tell what it's doing.
Yeah, as long as it's not doing any updates or deletes.
No. This is not doing any updates or deletes. It's just executing a select statement. Okay. It's only displaying on the screen. Yeah.
So Abdul, you remember you were talking about the interview question. If they ask where did you use the stored procedure, so the answer should be something like that, right? That
yeah,
we were trying to find let's say all the 101 employee IDs in all tables, so we use the stored procedures.
Don't say employee ID and 101. Just say that we were.
So
what's
looking, the best answer for that?
Okay, I just gave 2 examples. I had to write.
How we can make it like on the words that like if those.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to just tell them that we had to write a stored procedure to loop through all the tables and all the columns in a specific schema and look for null values or look for unprintable characters like these weird characters. Sometimes you see these characters in the, sorry, not this.
Yeah, special characters.
Special characters.
Yeah.
I actually did that in 2012 at Wells Fargo. And in my current project, we have to loop through everything and look for, I will tell you why we are specifically looking for -2s. I will tell you that towards the end. But yeah, for now, just say that you have to loop through all the tables and look for a specific value. That's it. They'll tell you how do you do it. So you will say you will write a stored procedure, and in that you will loop through all the table names and column names from all tab columns where data type is varchar and owner is something, and you will load it into a select statement. In that select statement, you have this table name which is coming from here. You have this column name which is coming from here because this is R, right? So you're saying R.table name. So this statement will be same. You will just you will keep replacing. So okay, so this is how it will work. When you execute this query, all of these values are stored in R. So R can only store one value at a time. Okay, then it will take this regions and place it here, and it will take region name. Sorry, it will take regions and place it here. It will take region name and place it here, and it will search for that value. Then if it finds it, then it will display on the screen. It will keep looping. Then it will go back and check for this. Then it will go back and bring in this. R will become this. R.table name will become this. R.column name will become this. R.table name will become this. R.column name will become this. And it will display on the screen. You will not display on the screen. You will never display anything on the screen like I showed in triggers. You will insert it into another table. Clear?
Yes, it is.
Once again, this is the only batch where I'm showing PLSQL. I did not show PLSQL for any of the previous batches. 17 people have jobs. If you know PLSQL, your resume will look better. So don't think I'm showing all of this and you're not understanding. No, it's okay. It's just that I want you guys to have a better option right now. You know why? Why I'm doing this when I didn't do it for the previous 9 batches? Right now, the job market is bad. Okay. I can just say, oh, this is SQL, this is Power Center, go, you're done. No, I need to make you prepared better, right? Because there is thousands of engineers from Uber, Airbnb, Panasonic in the market competing with you. You would have to be slightly better than what is there in the market, right? Only then you'll get a job. So previous 9 batches, I did not show PLSQL. This is the only batch which I'm showing PLSQL. And they got jobs.
Abdul, I have a quick question. For Power Center, do you need to know PLSQL?
No.
Okay.
So Power Center and PLSQL are competitors. Good question. So if you know, so Power Center and whatever you do in Power Center, it's a competition of PLSQL. So in the 90s and early 2000s, we did not have these Power Center drag and drop tools. You guys know how Power Center looks like, right? It's like a drag and drop tool.
You showed us last time. It's
Yeah.
like
So,
drag the columns in.
yeah. So if in the previously, so this is how Power. Okay, it doesn't want to work. Okay, anyway, so yeah, so if you know Power Center, so people used to do ETL with the help of PLSQL, but after these new tools came in, drag and drop, right click, select this box, you don't need to do. But a lot of companies like banks and insurance companies, they still use PLSQL stored procedures. Okay, they see, especially banks, insurance companies, right? Financial companies, they do not like all these drag and drop tools. They are very bad when it comes to technology. They will always stick to the old technology. Some of the banks and Wall Street banks, right, in New York, they still use COBOL files, which is from 1970s and 60s.
I heard about that on the news. Yeah, and they couldn't find a specialist to help them out.
Yeah, so these banks,
COBOL.
yeah, COBOL, you know how much they pay for a COBOL programmer? $200 per hour. People who do programming, they're all either dead or they're in their 70s or 80s. So they cannot find people who do COBOL programming. They're paying $200 per hour. They're saying, just work for us instead of 40 hours per week, just come and work from home for 20 hours. They're working for 3 days and making $4,000 per week.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and even then, when they're paying 200, they're not able to find. So banks, some of the banks, this is from 90s, 80s, and 90s. So if they're using technology from the 60s, they'll still use. So, but if you go to a product company like Apple and Facebook, they will use all these drag and drop tools. But if you go to banks and insurance, especially banks, they're very notorious for, you know, we were using Power Center 9.6. So Power Center, every 2-3 years, they come out with a new version. Okay. When I was working at a bank, you know, when they migrated from the old version to the new version, 1 month before, Informatica sent out an email saying that we will no longer support this. If you have any issues with the current version of Informatica, you're on your own. That's when they said, okay, finally they were like grumbling and said, okay, we will upgrade. You know, my friends at other companies, they had already started using the new products 1 year before. So banks are very notorious. They will still use stored procedures. So now the question is, if you have Informatica and stored procedure, why do we have the two same things? Why do we have two same things? Okay, so this is Power Center. Let me show you how in Power Center you can call stored procedures. So let me show you something. Can everybody go on mute, please? See, this is how you update records. In SQL, you write an update statement. Over here, you write case statements, right? This is writing case statements. So you don't have to write any code. You just drag and drop. Okay. I want to show something, and this is the one which doesn't use stored procedure. Let me show you.
Abdul, you created those mappings, as in like it's part of the part of job to be able to create those.
Yeah, these are all my mappings. Everything you see on the left side, these are all mine. It took me 3 years.
Okay, wow.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. If I can do it, you guys can do it too. Okay, see, all these stored procedures, do you see? See, with Power Center, you can call these stored procedures. Okay, let me show you a sample stored procedure. So remember I told you, right? We have a stored procedure which checks for values -2. Programmability, stored procedures. Wait, these are very simple. Okay, I don't want, these are very simple ones. The one I want to see, special characters. So we want to find out, I wrote this one. Actually, I wrote it here also. So I checked for ASCII values between, see, same thing. I wrote a select statement, begin, end, and then I loaded it. So this is TSQL. This is not PLSQL. This is TSQL. See, search for non-printable characters needs to be tested. Okay, let me show you the -2. That one will make more sense. Special characters, missing dim keys. No, not this one. -2s. Search all tables. Usually you should leave a comment here. No, filler. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. Yeah, this one is calling WF CDM error table count. CDM. Okay. No. Okay, I'll check and I'll let you know, but it's somewhere over here.
Is there any way to search specific word which was in the table?
Special. See, this one is for special characters.
Like a special, yeah.
I'll check tomorrow and I'll let you know. Okay. Missing dim keys.
Okay.
No, not this one. So we have a stored procedure which will loop through. Our requirement here was loop through all the tables starting with DBO, not these. Okay, not these and not these and not these. Only the one starting with. Okay, another thing you guys should know. In SQL Server database, there is no concept of schemas. There is no schemas. You have, this is called database. And each database you have, inside the database, you have schemas. In Oracle, schema and database is the same thing, but not in SQL Server. In SQL Server, schema is present inside the database. In Oracle, schemas and database is the same thing. So we had to query through all of these DBO tables and check for the values -2. So at the end of the day, we get an email like this. So we get an email like this. So this, so at the end of the day, we get an email like this. And so this is today, right? So I can just query this one. If I query this one, I'll see. So it will tell you which column also. So one of these columns have -2 in it. So it will tell you. So at the end of the day, I'll just get an email. Okay, out of those 120 tables, these tables have -2s. Okay. But you guys get an idea, right? You would have to know, you would have to know this thing. You would have to know cursor for this, which we will look into this. And Saturday will be the last class for PLSQL. You should at least know how to write simple loops, conditions, arrays. You should be able to do basic exception handling. You should be able to write simple stored procedures. Triggers you already know. So if you know at least this much, and in an interview you can answer like, what did you do for stored procedures? How did you do it? How did you call it from Power Center? That should be more than enough.
Abdul, question. Sometimes I hear about NoSQL. What is that? They don't have any SQL there?
So in that, they don't use SQL. Okay, so there are some. Okay, so SQL databases are, a lot of companies are moving away from SQL. They are moving into NoSQL. So there is one called MongoDB. I don't know if I remember my password. No, that's not my password. So even I'm learning MongoDB, NoSQL. Okay, so anyways, so let me see. So in that you cannot write select statement. You cannot write select star, or if you want, you cannot write select star or where statement. Okay, in that, in NoSQL, your data is stored in the form of key value pairs. Okay, your in that your data is stored in where are my notes? So yes, I have it on my desktop. It's somewhere. Yeah, see. So your data is not stored in the form of relational database. Like your data is not stored in the form of tables and columns. It is stored in key value pairs. So this is called a key. This is called as a value. This is called as a key. This is called as a value. This is called as a key. So yeah, so your data is stored in the form of key value pairs. You will have to query this to return data. You will have to query this to return data. Actually, I am also practicing that right now. I actually took a membership here. It's $60 per $60 for 6 months. So this is where you will use NoSQL. So the good thing is you don't have to download anything if you take membership of this online lab. Let me show you. Let me show you how it looks like. Okay, don't get scared when you see all these black screen, okay? The thing with the IT is you cannot say, I learned this thing, that's it, I'm done. You will have to learn, you have to keep learning. Otherwise, you know what happened to, I have Yelp data, I have Airbnb data. So they provide you sample data, New York Exchange, crime. Let me open LinkedIn data, okay? Let me open LinkedIn data. Contacts, okay, more. This is a CSV. There is H1B crime. Okay, I think crime is key value pairs. In a long time since I did this. This one, CD, JSON. Okay, so do you see how you have a key and a value, key and a value? Okay, so starting from here, you have an ID, name, attribution, attribute. These are all columns. These are all records. These are description. This is a description column. So NoSQL means you will have data in this format and you will have to, so suppose I want to find out all the, I want to find out all the categories which are public safety. I want to find out all the categories which are public safety. You cannot write select star from table where, what did I say? Select star from table where category equals to public safety. No, you will have to do it in a different way. Okay, so the thing is, a lot of companies are moving away from the relational, the regular relational databases. Okay, but you cannot.
So what is the advantage? I mean, why is it like something new?
Yeah, this is new. A lot of companies are moving into this, like all these major companies which have billions of records of data, millions and billions, nobody's using Oracle. They're all using NoSQL. So they still have Oracle SQL Server, but they're all migrating away from that. And you would have to start learning this as well. I don't want to put too much pressure on you. First, get a job as an ETL Informatica developer. Spend 2-3 years, or at least 2 years there, and then move into this. With these, you can make up to like 120, 130, 150K in Midwest. 150. Some people are making 200 also. So,
but there's on the coast, east or west.
it doesn't matter. You can be in Chicago and you can make 200K. You can make 180K. Okay. You have to keep learning, guys. If you think that, oh, I just pay this much amount and I attend 2 months of classes and that's it, lifelong I'm set. No, you have to keep learning.
Yeah. So how about with PL, SQL, or just SQL? I mean, what sort of pay range we are looking at after 2 years experience?
So you can make easily 120, 130 right now, but this is the future. What you're looking at, this is the future. These relational databases will go away. Okay, these relational databases will go away. Okay,
so which is comparatively easier to learn? Just curious. I mean, is it that NoSQL is also I mean, easy or
no,
relatively hard?
See, I've used this for 12 years. For me, this is very easy. Okay, when it comes to NoSQL, I'm as clueless as you. I have no idea, because I practice this, but it's been like 2-3 months, so I forgot. If you ask me to get all the categories which is public safety, I don't know how to do it. Okay, I think, see, I opened this a month ago. I've been lazy, so what did I do 1 month ago? I don't remember what I did 1 month ago. So actually here. Okay. Yeah, I was practicing this, but then yeah, you have to keep learning. If you just say, this is it, I don't want to learn anymore. So this is how MongoDB looks like. No. Okay, I don't want to take too much time. Yeah, but you will have to learn NoSQL as well. But don't put too much thought into it right now.
Yeah, that's
do the basic things. The newer technologies, you can do it once you get a job.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Hello.